Standard form for an equation of a circle is given by this formula: x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Now you probably already have identified that r is going to be our radius. What you may not know is h and k. Those are the parts of the coordinates for the center of the circle. H is the x value and k is the y value. So in order for us to write an equation for a circle, if we know the center and we know the radius, we can just substitute into our formula for the equation of the circle. For instance, if we knew that the center of a circle was at 1, -2, and the radius was 5, let's just substitute the things in where they go. I'll take the x value of the center of the circle and substitute it in the place of h. I'll take the y value of the center of the circle and I'll substitute it in for k. Now notice that the negative here with the negative there makes this a positive result. So we have y plus 2 being squared. Now the last part is the radius being squared. If our radius is 5, when we take 5 and we square it, the result would be 25. So here now is an equation for the circle. Notice that those squares are important. Without those squares, it's not a circle that we're talking about. Let's look at another example. Here we've been given the equation and we're asked to decide what the center is going to be. Well, if you know that the standard form for a circle looks like this, and you know that HK is the center, notice that it's the opposite of what's in our formula. The opposite of what's in our formula. So here, opposite of +5 would be -5. Opposite of -1 would be +1. So the center's at -5, 1. Now the radius, if this is the radius being squared, all I need to do is take the square root of that 36 to figure out what my radius should be. The square root of 36 is 6, and so our radius is 6. Perhaps the hardest kind of problem that you'll face is when you're given the center and a point, like the one here. I've been told that the center is 1, 2. I know a point, 3, 4. Now, I don't, at this point, know what the radius is. I've gone ahead and substituted our center in, but we still need to be able to figure out what that radius is to be able to tell what the equation of the circle is going to be. The official way for us to do it would be to use the distance formula to find the distance between the center and the point, since that distance is the radius. But there's a trick that makes it a little easier. Here we've got an x value and a y value, and here we've got an x and a y that's in our formula. So let's just substitute those things in. 3 is our x value, and 4 is our y value. When I do the arithmetic here, I'll figure out what our radius being squared is going to be. 3 minus 1 is 2 squared. Here I've got 4 minus 2 is 2 squared, and this is equal to r squared. 2 squared is 4, 2 squared is 4, so 4 plus 4 made 8 for our radius squared. Now be careful, we've not yet answered the question. If we're trying to write an equation of the circle, we need to use the center along with this radius being squared. So let's go back up the page to right there and write our equation. It is x minus the x value of the center plus y minus the y value of the center is equal to our radius squared. Notice that I left it here as r squared. I knew I was going to want to use it as r squared, so there was no reason for me to take the square root of that 8. Here is the equation that we wanted. Standard form for an equation of a circle, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. hk, that gives you where the center is going to be. R, that's the radius.